Aryna Sabalenka just took her third loss of the year because of how seeding works with 32 spots at majors. She is under pressure. World number 1, 4-time Grand Slam champ, and the most feared baseline hitter on the entire planet. She just walked off a Rome clay court after losing to a 35-year-old ranked outside the top 50. She dipped to the microphone and said 7 words that she might regret for the rest of her career in Paris. "My body was limiting me from performing on the highest level." She says she is trying not to overthink things, but we are all watching to see how far she gets. Just one day earlier, she stood at that same Italian Open and told the tennis press that the water has become incredibly dangerous. The field is so deep that losing focus for 1 second ends your tournament. She was right. She just didn't realize she was describing herself. Meanwhile, the 20-year-old lefty from Manila, currently honing her clay court top spin with the architect of 14 Roland Garros titles, heard every single word. Here is what you must understand about Alex Eala. Entering Roland Garros 2026, she did not receive a wild card. She didn't have to battle through qualifying. She earned her spot in the French Open main draw through her ranking alone. This is the first time her name appears on a Grand Slam entry list with 0 asterisks next to it. She is arriving with Toni Nadal in her corner after weeks at the Nadal Academy, making technical adjustments designed specifically for that Parisian red clay. That is the player Sabalenka's warning is now attached to. Whether she intended it or not, things can shift from one side to the other really fast. Sabalenka's French Open spring has been a slow motion unraveling that no one in the mainstream tennis press wants to mention out loud. So, let's say it right here. April 28, 2026, in Madrid, Sabalenka loses in the second round to American Hailey Baptiste. Not a top 20 player, and definitely not a Roland Garros semifinalist. Hailey Baptiste was gone before the tournament even reached its second week. May 9, 2026, in Rome, Sabalenka exits in the third round to Aryna Sabalenka, a 35-year-old ranked outside the top 50, citing her body as the problem. She didn't even show up for her post-match press conference. Her own coach, Anton Dubrovsky, had already told the media that the team completely changed their French Open prep this year. As he put it, during the last 3 French Open campaigns, Sabalenka arrived in Paris physically unwell. That is 3 straight years. 3 straight years of showing up compromised at the one major she has never won. And then, midway through this collapsing clay season, she stepped to a microphone and told the world the toll is now so deep that losing focus for a second is fatal. The press just nodded politely, but every player in that locker room heard a completely different message. Because in the same 2-week window that Sabalenka was exiting Rome early and blaming her body, one specific player was doing something else entirely on that same clay. May 5, 2026. First round, Italian Open. Alex Eala versus Magdalena Frech. Eala demolishes the first set 6-0, drops the second 3-6, then closes the third 6-4. She fights through a grueling 3-set test and comes out on top. First point of evidence, she can absorb pressure and win. Wang Xinyu, seeded 31st in the tournament and an Olympic silver medalist, a player who has beaten Iga before. Iga doesn't just beat her, she solves her 6-4, 6-3. No drama, just efficient and authoritative. The Italian crowd, who barely knew her, began to chant. Now, put yourself in Sabalenka's shoes. You are the world number 1. You have spent the last 3 weeks losing to players ranked outside the top 50 on clay. And from across the brackets, a 20-year-old is dismantling seeded opponents and getting louder cheers with every match she wins. Then came Aryna Sabalenka, world number 2, and the reigning Australian Open champ, 6 feet tall, with the flattest ball in tennis. Rybakina wins 6-4, 6-3, but Iga walked into that press conference and said exactly what needed saying. I am happy with my performance. I do not think it was an easy win for her. She was right. Even Rybakina gave 0 statements to minimize what Iga brought to the court. The silence from the world number 2 after that match was, in its own way, a form of total acknowledgement. 2 big wins and a competitive loss to the second-ranked player in the world across 11 days on clay. From Monday to Saturday in Rome, Iga jumped from number 42 toward the high 30s. This trajectory follows a pattern building since Miami 2025, since the clay experiments of early 2026, since the day this player stopped treating Grand Slams as opportunities and started seeing them as destinations she was owed. And that is what Sabalenka's warning was actually measuring, not the tour in the abstract. The new generation is arriving. Fans who followed Eala from the qualifying rounds of lesser events to this moment recognized it before the rankings did. They saw what the scoreboard is only now confirming. Now consider who is in Alex Eala's corner for Roland Garros 2026. Toni Nadal coached Rafael Nadal to 22 Grand Slam titles. 14 of those titles were forged on Roland Garros clay. He didn't build champions through pure talent. He built them through obsessive technical precision, adjusting grip, pressure, net clearance, and top spin angles until the clay became something a player mastered rather than feared. He spent decades perfecting that for just one player. Seeing him do this personally for Alex Eala right now tells you something that the official rankings just can't tell. Reports from her camp confirm Toni is grinding with Eala on the exact details that separate clay court survivors from real contenders. Higher net clearance, heavier top spin, and more than anything, patience. The grit to build points over 6, 8, or 10 shots instead of chasing a winner on ball 3. That is the tactical nerve. 14 Roland Garros titles being passed down to a 20-year-old lefty who already took down a world number 3. Eala described that moment exactly like someone who just won the lottery. Blessed, she said. When asked for details about the actual coaching sessions, she admitted, "I lost my mind." When the architect of history's greatest clay court dynasty makes a player lose her mind, Roland Garros takes notice whether it wants to or not. Roland Garros 2026 starts May 24th. The draw is May 22nd. The Strasbourg Open, where Eala is finishing her final clay court tune-up, wraps up this week. Every tennis newsroom is obsessing over the bracket math right now. Will Eala end up in Sabalenka's quarter? If she does, and Sabalenka hits Paris with the same physical struggles she felt in Rome, the kind that kept her from competing at the absolute highest level, that potential showdown becomes the most watched Vuelta match of the year. But the stakes go way beyond one bracket. What Eala is building during this clay swing is the foundation for a whole new map of women's tennis. Southeast Asia has never really produced a Grand Slam contender. The water has its stories from America, Eastern Europe, Kazakhstan, and Poland. It's never told this story. An unseeded Filipina at Roland Garros, coached by the man who built the King of Clay, earning her spot on merit. That isn't some feel-good side story. That is the sport moving in a brand new direction. The Hote's own media team saw this coming over a year ago. In March 2025, they paired Sabalenka's Miami title with the breakthrough of Alexandra Eala, the girl who stunned Iga Swiatek to reach the semis. The tour's media team linked these two careers together. That connection has only gotten stronger over the last 14 months. Strasbourg, then the draw, then the red clay of Paris. Every single match matters from here on out. I think she is fully committed, and what she is showing is that this level of tennis has always been in her. April 24th, 2026. Madrid. Second round, Elise Mertens, 19th seed, a veteran Belgian pro Eala thought she could challenge, but the score was a blowout. 6-2, 6-1, over and under an hour. There are two ways to handle a loss like that just 11 days before a major clay tournament. First, you protect your ego, find excuses, minimize the damage, and just wait it out. Or you go back to the person who knows clay best and ask the hard questions. Eala chose that path. Within 48 hours, she was back on the practice courts at the Nadal Academy. 11 days later, she opened Rome with a 6-0 set. Her Instagram post after Rome and the Rybakina loss told you everything you needed to know about her mindset. Rome heard me this time. Not a lament, not an excuse. It was a statement that she had arrived. Rome heard her. Next up is Paris. Sabalenka said that losing focus for even a second can end your tournament on the clay. She was right. It ended her run in Rome, where a veteran ranked outside the top 50 walked onto the same surface. A 20-year-old had just navigated with 2 top 50 wins. Toni Nadal's fingerprints are all over Alex Eala's game now. The Water's own media team linked Eala to Sabalenka's story over 14 months ago. After a crushing 6-2, 6-1 loss in Madrid, Eala came back 11 days later and made Rome remember her name. The schedule now says Strasbourg, the draw, and then the clay of Philip Chatrier. Sabalenka never had to say Eala's name out loud. The bracket will say it for her. This isn't a story the mainstream press has fully connected yet, but fans watching since Miami 2025 knew what was happening. They recognized Toni Nadal's involvement for what it really was before anyone ever put it in a headline. That group was right back then. Now, Paris is about to prove it. Here is the real question. Can Alex Eala actually conquer Roland Garros 2026? Or will Sabalenka find her rhythm and wake up just in time to dominate in Paris? Drop your Eala round predictions below. If Sabalenka lands in a quarter, tell us right now. Who makes it out alive? Not subscribed yet? You are playing a dangerous game. Roland Garros starts May 24th, and the draw drops May 22nd. The second Ayala's bracket is locked in. Our channel will be the first to break down her exact road to the quarterfinal, believe me. You do not want to be late to this conversation. Subscribe now. Hit those notifications. The red clay of Paris is waiting.